This is State Senator Adam Ollier, and it's jump week, which seems like it came way too fast. So if you are unfamiliar, this would be the equivalent of day 11. We had 2 days off because of the 4-day for Veterans Day, so we had no class on Friday and no class on Monday. So we had a extra long day on Thursday last week, what would have been day 9, and we'll just keep the numbering going forward. So we'll just make this day 10, even though it could easily have been day 12. So, but yeah, today was a long, short, strange day. So, as you know, Airborne School is at Fort Benning, Georgia, or at Fort Benning in Columbus, Georgia, which typically is not super cold this time. So I went to basic training at Fort Benning, and in November, the week before Thanksgiving, it was a beautiful, beautiful day. I remember sun and heat and all of those things. As a matter of fact, the very last PT test we took at Fort Benning, the last, first week of December, was a sunny, 70-degree day like it was yesterday. So yesterday it was a beautiful 70-degree day. Today it was a cold, well, not super cold, but it was a really, really windy day. The cold front is coming in tomorrow. But we sat in the harness shed all day, all rigged up, because it was 30 miles an hour winds. And so for it to be safe to jump, I think it needed to get down to 13 mile an hour winds, but it didn't. So we sat all rigged up for 4 hours. And for any of you who have sat in one place for 4 hours, unable to use the bathroom, or pretty much do much movement at all, that's what it's like when you're waiting after you've been JMPI'd. But let's get to what today looked like from start to finish. So we ran down to Jump Branch, and so it's about a mile run, not a super fast run. They just, you run down there so that they can make sure that you aren't injured, you haven't broken anything, don't have any sprained ankles, those kind of things that might be exacerbated by making a parachute landing fall come jump week. So that's why you run down there. It's not super long, it's not a fast pace. It's just moving down to the Jump Branch. So we got there and we had to do your normal, hey, this is where the bathroom is, lightning, yada, yada, yada. This is how you move around the space. This is who's in charge, point of contacts, that kind of introduction stuff. So that brief happened, and then we went back over in your unit, or, going forward, it'd be the equivalent of BAR, which is your basic airborne refresher. So we did parachute landing falls, we did exits out of the aircraft, kind of all of those things, just so it was fresh in our minds and so that we knew what we were supposed to do, and the instructors, the Sergeant Airbornes, knew that we knew what we were supposed to do and how to do that. So, mass exit, parachute landing falls, those kind of things. So we did that. We go in the harness shed. There are a couple folks who still had to retest the RigX, which was rigging their combat rucksack and the molly and all those kind of things. So folks who had to retested, and folks who had passed the first time rigged the extra rucks, since there were some extra rucks in our class. So we did that, and then we sat around for a little bit, and then once they got all those folks retested and everything, then we pulled parachutes, and so we're jumping with the T11 parachute and reserve. So you go down, you get those from the riggers give them to you. You have to carry them over your right arm with your reserve in your left hand on the carrying hook like this. So you're kind of running like this, going back, and then you get JMPI'd. So the jump masters inspect you, they follow your static line, they do all those kind of things. They check you from literally head to toe, following your helmet, your chin strap, the static line cable that is what triggers your main parachute out. They check every strap after, right down, all the way down to your leg harnesses. So, you buddy rig yourselves up, and then jump master inspects you, and once they initial on your helmet that you have been cleared to go, good to go, you are not allowed to touch anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. You can't touch any of your equipment because then you might need to get inspected again for safety. So it can be a long morning of sitting there waiting for the weather to clear. And that's what we did all day. We waited on the weather. So God willing, tomorrow will be a better day. It's supposed to be unseasonably chilly. It'll be a balmy 12 degrees. And we need to jump twice tomorrow so that we can still graduate on Friday, twice tomorrow, and hopefully 3 times on Thursday. And we will be ready to rip, rock, and roar. And I will have my 5 jumps. So still none, but hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to tell you how awesome it was and how scary it is. But every day I feel more and more confident. We watched some videos of folks going through, and they kind of showed the blooper reels of people who didn't keep their legs together. And so, I mean, you know, legs looking like this, poor parachute fall, and all those people were fine. And so it's just a reminder that if you trust your equipment, you do what you've been trained to do, you'll be successful. So that's what I plan to do tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be able to tell you how cool and awesome it was. So again, I'm your state senator, Adam Ollier. This is my attempt to give you a feel for what it's like to be a reserve officer in an airborne unit and what it's like to go through jump school. So I hope this is informative to you. I hope if you have questions, please let me know. Leave them in the comments, like, subscribe, do all those kind of things, share. Yeah, and I'll see you tomorrow.